This is Hollywood Cemetery, where the graves of George Wesley Roberts and Pauline Hayes Roberts are located. George Wesley was born in Crockett County in 1880. During his youth, he worked on the farm. Later on, he attended school at Henderson, Tennessee, at the Georgia Robertson Academy. Later on in life, he became a salesman for wholesale groceries. He traveled all over West Tennessee and made many friends. George Wesley's health became poor, and for many years he was confined to a wheelchair. But he was always very cheerful and helped to hold the home together and make it a cheerful place. He died in November 1954. Pauline Hayes Roberts was born in Middle Tennessee. She later on moved to West Tennessee and lived in the 9th District of Madison County. Her father was an educator. Pauline attended MCFI school. Later on, after marriage, she became a secretary, and she worked for 40 years for the insurance business. First, she worked for Boswell and Hall. After that, it was sold to Hall Insurance Company, from which she retired. She died in September 1966. This is the King plot at Hollywood Cemetery. Lowell's mother, father, sister, brother, nephew, and Lowell are buried in this plot. Lowell and Elizabeth were married 50 years last April. Lowell, at the time that they met, was working in the arsenal at Milan, Tennessee. They were introduced by a mutual friend and former school teacher of Elizabeth, Miss Fanny Brown. They met on Halloween night, and ever after that, Lowell talked about the witches and the people you met on Halloween. Lowell was born in 1916 in Madison County at Beech Bluff, Tennessee. He lived there until we were married, and then he died in 1993. For many years, Lowell was the accountant at S.M. Lawrence Company. This is the grave of Ora Ella King and James Henry King at Hollywood Cemetery, beside the grave of Lowell and his family, the rest of his family. His father, James Henry King, traveled with Southern Seating Company, and he traveled all over the South, where they installed bank equipment and church equipment. He died when Lowell was very young, and his mother stayed on the farm at Beech Bluff, and all the children were reared there. One grave is the infant brother, Herman, brother of Lowell and son of James Henry and Ora Ella. One small grave is the grave of the nephew of Lowell, son of Roy and Rena King. The other grave is the grave of Helen King, sister of Lowell King. For many years, Helen worked in the school cafeteria, and she was always a caretaker of all the sick people around. She had a very much of a servant's heart. That's all I know to say about her. She really did, like to serve people.